Hey guys, it's Amethyst here, and I want to welcome you back to Behind the Smoke. So far, the first episode did really good from what I'm seeing, and I do still want to talk about the next character involved in this documentary by the name of 825, also originally named Amethyst. But there's a little more history than just those two names, which I want to go over a couple things. So pretty much what we're going to do is go back to do the same thing as we did in the first episode. It might not be as much as Lexi's origin story, but it's a little bit, chaotic and simple. But what I'm gonna do is explain the whole thing from the previous episode onto this episode, but I won't go a little overkill with it, shorten it down a bit to a couple things, So I want to go ahead and talk about 825, how he started out, where he is currently, and of course explaining that 825 and my own OC are two different characters. But then again, that might confuse you guys, but I'll try my best to not confuse you. So with that being said, let's begin. Union Pacific 825. Now, who is this character specifically? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a rundown of how this character started. Of course, if you've been on my channel long enough, you will definitely know where the origin has started, but then again, that's for most of the OG viewers. But because we have some new viewers now, I want to go ahead and explain this from a whole new and fresh perspective for both new viewers and old viewers. Now, the start of this character was pretty simplistic. Of course, right after making Lexi, the Union Pacific 844, I wanted to go ahead and make a couple new characters and throw them into these videos out of the blue. Of course, I was looking for more unique numbered characters to throw into these corny videos. Yes, I am going to say corny because I can at least admit that what I make is pretty much beyond chaotic. Now, of course, I wanted to make a character that I wanted to use for my channel as a little persona just to go around, because I've seen a couple of accounts, they do pretty good with their sonas, and I've seen some that do terrible with their sonas, and I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Some of y'all need to seek Jesus. I am being dead honest right now, and if you're one of those, I pray for you that you fix whatever you're doing. But that's besides the point. To make 825, how it all started was, if we go back to an old video that I made, there's a little Q&A that I made where someone asked me what inspired me to make 825, which I'm going to explain it to you all right now. Dude, I really cannot fucking watch my own fucking videos anymore. I swear to God, I'm not doing this shit again. I'm not watching this shit. When looking for another Union Pacific FEF to add into the storylines, I wanted to grab another FEF, but when I was looking through, here's the thing, I didn't have a lot of knowledge in this train stuff, so you gotta cut me some slack on this. When I was looking through the list, I noticed that there were also different variants of these locomotives, which were the FEFs 1 and FEF 2. Now, after seeing those two, I was wondering to myself, I didn't know that there were two other previous versions, so that making it 3. So I did a little bit of Google scrolling and ended up, of course, on the Wikipedia, which led me to finding the exact one that I was looking for. As I scrolled down, I noticed that there was an FEF2 by the number 825. And of course, by the looks of the locomotive, it's like an FEF1 and an FEF3 combined, but then again, someone's gonna tell me, oh, that's not right, you gotta get your facts right. I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to shut up. With that being said, I landed on 825 because it was the first FEF2 that I've seen on that Wikipedia page. So of course, what I did was grab the image, started doodling a face over it, and voila. What did you expect the outcome was gonna be? Now, when the face has been placed on and throwing it into the storyline and stuff like that, I wanted to give this character a good name. And of course, I decided to spin the fucking wheel and just land on a basic name, to which the original name for 825 would have been James. If you've seen the previous comics, you would notice that there are times where they mention the name James, which would have been 825. This only lasted for like a couple videos before I decided to switch the name around I decided, why don't I just call this character what my channel name is? So I decided to go from James all the way to changing that to Amethyst, which would have made a lot more sense too, mainly because the character I actually liked working on a lot. And after the change was made, I pretty much just rolled with it. Not much was being made. Now, for the voice actor, I can't really tell you a lot of information because the voice actor is literally just me. But not much info I can give on 825 for some sort of things. But from what I can at least tell you is everything that I can remember from start to finish. Of course, being the name and the name change, along with the history of where this character originated. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and skip ahead to the next segment of how 825 is in the UPX series. Now, in the Union Pacific X series, I wanted 825 to have a kind of clumsy, selfish attitude. I wanted him to be, you know, one of those characters that's like the class clown, but I wanted to not overdo it. But of course, from the original run, I kind of went a little overkill with his persona, you know. Of course, not only that, but 825 was supposed to be a secondary main protagonist character. So not only Lexi would be the first one, 825 would be second in command of being the main protagonist. Now, during the original run of the Union Pacific X series, it was still called Amethyst throughout the entire show. But of course, once the reboot was being made, I decided maybe just going with just simple numbers instead of the name, because of course, if you've noticed one of my old videos, if anyone even watches them anymore, you'll see there's two of them sitting in one shot in a video, which has 825 in black and 825 in Greyhound. The difference there is that the Greyhound one would have been the character that portrays my channel, whereas the one in all black is the one for the Union Pacific X series. So of course, despite there's two different characters, they both somewhat play the same way. And I want to keep it that way because there's no confusion with my character and of course the UPX character. I mean, technically, yeah, they are both my characters, but you know, I just want to like split them apart, give them like their own distance, you know, like a divorced couple, if I want to put it like that. But of course, 825 in the reboot, of course, would have been painted in black, but who knows when he might come back in gray. That's not up to me, that's up to my boss. But of course, only time will tell when that'll happen, you know. Now, you might be wondering why I keep calling it 825 when he has a name, Amethyst. The reason I wanted to change it to 825 was because, like I said, I wanted to make them separate. So I decided to just go with 825 for the UPX version, as where my character will stay as Amethyst for the channel, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but to me, I feel like it's appropriate to do that. It may be a little confusing, but I'm not the best at explaining it. I mean, yeah, in the series, he'll still be referred to as Amethyst, but then again, that's pretty much the name that he was given, but he still goes by 825. That way, it's a shorter way of just saying his name. There's no need for it to be said. Just 3 simple numbers is enough, you know. Now, the main question I guarantee people are asking is, what is up with the forehead tattoo that 825 has? Well, apparently, I never really gave a reason to why he had it on. But of course, with time going on, I decided I wanted to try and think of something. Well, technically, me and Otto, we wanted to think of something that implicates that tattoo of what it means, which of course we have a written transcript right here of what this is supposed to mean. So of course, for the reboot, we decided to work something out for it, and I'm going to read the transcript for you guys. So according to the transcript, during the early 20th century, locomotives that were selected to be on the builder's card for their class would have the initials of their railroad tattooed on their foreheads. Hence why 825 has one, because 825 was the FEF2 that was chosen for the builder's card. Of course, there's a couple of Google images where you can literally look up right now. There's a lot of pictures of 825 on builder's card pictures, which honestly kind of shocks me, which all this is starting to come in. Continuing on with the transcript, however, This would only be done until December 7th, 1941, which was when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor and America declared war on Japan. After this, every locomotive on a builder's card wouldn't have a face tattoo on their forehead, as there was no time for extra additions for locomotive orders, as railroads needed their orders as soon as they were ready. Since then, locomotives haven't had their initials of the railroads tattooed on their foreheads. And that is the end of the transcript right there of what we wanted to work with for that forehead tattoo that's on 825's head, which I hope it kind of clears things up, because I know people have probably asked a couple times what that's supposed to mean, this and that, but hey, you finally got the information. I hope you're fucking happy. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole history of the tattoo that we wanted to give it. Of course, throughout the early years, there has been a couple of modifications to where I messed with 825's face for like a more cleaner look. I did remove the tattoo at some point in time to where I didn't want it there anymore, because it pretty much just doesn't really fit well with it. But then I realized it's just giving him a receding forehead at that point. Changing one thing to one character after it's been done, it just doesn't settle right. So of course, after a couple of modifications to like facial details and all that stuff, I decided I'm gonna say fuck it, just put the forehead tattoo back on. We'll think of something out, and then pretty much we went from there. More face changes have been made as well. Of course, the one you've seen after I came back to my channel after that 1-year hiatus, it pretty much looked kind of bland, but it was a simplistic look that I wanted to go with. And plus, the old look was kind of dying out, along with Lexi's old face, which lasted 5 years, which pretty much gave both of those characters a good amount of recognition, but mostly Lexi got that attention, of course, which doesn't surprise me. But of course, 825 needed a face change to go with that. So of course, I landed on something simplistic to work with. And then of course, as of now, I did one final face change, but mainly because that face change that I made last year, a couple years back, of course, was pretty much just a concept face. It wasn't supposed to go in full effect. That was just pretty much something I wanted to work with in the time being, which explains why I've uploaded a couple of test videos, which some of y'all really did enjoy watching, which pretty much I'm genuinely surprised a little test video is more enjoyable than a whole fucking video itself. But you know what? I appreciate that. So of course, I landed on making a couple more details to his face and this and that. Next thing you know, I ended up making him look like a wasp. But then again, I said, you know what? Fuck it. It looks good. I won't complain. It's gonna stay that way. Now, I want to go off on a little bit more details that I have left over that I can think of this character that some people may have questioned before, or some sort of things like that. But I want to at least try and give you as much detail as I can. People might be asking, why did I choose specifically the numbers 825? Again, the Google picture that I found on Wikipedia was the first one that I landed on. Grabbed the picture and I didn't realize what number it was going to be. I just wanted the character to be made into this one. As I looked through it, I saw the numbers 825. So of course, slapping on 825 to it, and pretty much that's how it became a more recognizable character. Not only recognizable, but apparently the most original character, because if you think about it, who else do you know on this channel, on this entire website do you know has a character with the numbers 825? I'll give you at least a 10-second head start to do that.
Intermission.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna give you a head start. You already know that answer by now. I have gotten a couple of messages from people telling me that some of the characters, of course, based on numbers and numbers, this and that, but of course the one mainly for 825 telling me that it's probably the most original character that's been made, because if you think about it, there's not that many characters within the Union Pacific numbers that have been chosen as original. Of course, most people go for 844 of all choices. Of course, another one landing on 836 doesn't really surprise me, and honestly, if you're offended by that, I really don't care. Bite me. 838 is also one of them, and pretty much just the more basic numbers that you come across when it comes to an FEF. But when it came to 825, it was pretty much a more original approach from what I was told. And so far, I haven't seen anyone else do it besides me. And I don't know if maybe because they don't want to be associated with me, or mainly because they don't want to steal the idea of that. But in this case, I don't want to know. I don't want to question it. But you know what? Kudos to those that at least told me it was original, because I didn't even think it was original at the time. So yeah, that's pretty much all the information I can give on 825. Of course, the name changes of how, pretty much with the name changes and stuff like that, along with the facial changes, the origins of where he came from, this and that, yada yada yada, you know. But I want to thank you all for watching this video, and of course sticking around for the second episode, because by the looks of the first episode, y'all did pretty good with that, I'm not gonna lie, and kudos to all of you. Now, I still have a couple more characters I want to talk about before getting into that secret character that I mentioned in the first episode, along with a few more characters that I want to go with. The next characters that I have on the roster are both, of course, Daryl and the Princeton twins, Levi and Sarah. And then after that, I want to talk about a couple more that I want to throw in, but I will make a future episode as well for like miscellaneous OCs, so all of them are going to be grouped into one video. And of course, I will mention a couple characters that I've never liked working with, some that I've completely forgot about, or some that had no purpose of being in the series or the videos. Hence, there's one character that I know everyone is going to be begging for, which I'm going to tell you right now. Do not start begging me, is all I will say. Do not start begging me, because the second I see begging, I am blocking you. I'm being 100% true right now. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!
You made this person famous. You made this guy famous. Look at that stupid ass face.